Today is Thursday, January 17, 2019. The time is 6:30 p.m. and the regular meeting of the Greensburg Redevelopment Commission is called to order. At this time, if everyone would please silence your electronic devices. And if everyone will stand, we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Roll call. Judy, would you conduct roll call, please?
Yes. David Weigel.
Present.
Adam Winslow.
Present.
Ken Dornick.
Present.
Derek Covington.
Present.
Sharon McClough. Present. Jody Kaufman. Present.
Thank you. Next item is to approve minutes of the December 13th, 2018 regular meeting. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review that. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, they stand approved as presented. First item for us on the agenda is election of officers for 2019. I didn't see any campaign signs as coming in, so we'll try to just do this quick, I guess.
Who are our current officers?
I'm the president, vice president.
Secretary.
Do we do this on a rotating basis? I don't remember.
No, I think experience speaks very highly.
I make a motion to retain the current officers if they're willing.
Ooh, that's like the easiest nominee ever.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, motion.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry, I didn't get a motion.
Motion to
retain what we
retain
have.
the current officers.
Second that?
We have a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0.
Question,
Yeah.
does that include the office of secretary?
Yes. Yes.
I may have been campaigning to get out of this earlier, so.
Jody,
It's fine.
Spoke up, Jody.
Jody, do you need this?
I'm all right. I got a lot of paper here. So.
Let us know when you're resolving.
Exactly.
I didn't know if there was any evil intent in that or not, Joe. Thank you. Update of project status for Veterans Way Phase 2. Mr. May, do you have anything to tell us?
No.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Veterans Way Phase 2 continues to revolve about the acquisition of right-of-way. We have a proposed settlement agreement on parcels number 2 and number 9. And the essence of that agreement is in line with the statement for the basis of just compensation that was utilized for your initial offer back a few months. And the offer for parcel number 2 was $12,210. The offer for parcel number 9 was $13,130. Because that those two parcels were in the court, such a check would be issued to the Decatur County clerk and deposited with the clerk, not directly to the property owner. And then in addition, there is, the courts had appointed appraisers who had appraised those two parcels. And there is a $1,000 fee for one of the appraisers, and we would pay half of that, so that would be $500 for him. And then there was an $825 appraisal fee for another of the appraisers, and we would pay half of that. So the total cost for the property would be, for the two pieces, would be $25,340. And for the appraisal fees would be $912.50. Coming in the form of,
Could
Or
you
separate.
remind me which two parcels those are?
parcel, they both belong to the Schlemmer Trust.
So does that resolve all his parcels then?
Yes, that would leave us the one remaining parcel to acquire if we do this, if you do this.
Yeah, I'll report back. You know, we voted last meeting, recommended 3-year abatement, so the council approved a 4-year abatement.
They did.
Then he requested a 5-year before the tax abatement committee, and so we split the difference and gave
Is that something we need to approve and vote on now, or will we get a bill for that?
The sooner that these funds are deposited with the clerk's office and we get the document signed, the sooner we can have this secured.
I would entertain a motion to pay this bill of $25,340 for the property.
Excuse me, David. Could we have a motion for $12,210 plus a second for $13,130?
We sure could.
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion to that effect, sorry.
And we will issue it that way, and that will clarify the paper trail.
Perfect.
I make a motion that we
Thank you, Judy.
pay for parcel number 2, $12,210. And also motion, can we do the same motion? For parcel number 9, $13,130.
Thank you.
You can throw the appraisal fees in there if you want.
How about throwing the appraisal fees in
Can
that
they be
motion?
together in one, or do they have to be split because of two properties?
How do we pay that, Chris?
There'll be 2 separate checks.
Do we pay the individual appraisers, not
Do it
through the court?
separately, right?
Okay, so then also add
500?
additional to the motion, and we have a lot of crap to write now, to, well, a
500.
total for the appraisal, you said, I thought it was 9.
It's $500 to Colson Appraisals and $412.50 to William O. Smith.
50 to do? Ron, say the second one, I'm sorry, I have to write this down too. Long motion.
$412.50 to William O. Smith.
Okay. All right, so then additional to the motion, I add that we pay Colson for $500 and William O. Smith $412.50 for their appraisal work. There we go.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ken. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
So, Ron, we have until March? Is that the drop, is that the, for the?
We are on, you're referring to the letting
letting, yeah.
issue. We are currently on a April letting, which is somewhat administratively the last letting of the state fiscal year. They will have a letting in May. Traditionally, that has been only for NDOT's own projects. We are in conversations with NDOT trying to allow a local project like ours. Our drop dead date for having the right-of-way certification complete is the 23rd of this month, I believe.
The 21st.
Yes, next Wednesday, the 23rd. It's unlikely we're gonna hit that. If we could envision a way to conclude the last parcel and we could do that, let's say a little less than a month, we would have a chance to ask NDOT to put us on the May letting. There will not be a June letting. They do not let the last calendar month of the year. And we could make that. If we cannot achieve that, a very, very high probability that NDOT is over-programmed for the conceivably lose at least a year.
Should we hold another executive session to discuss our options in this litigation?
I was gonna ask you about that, so thank you.
He's a mind reader.
I think we should.
Sooner than later.
Can we do next week?
We need 48 hours, 48 hours notice of the
Yeah,
executive
so
session.
if you announce it tomorrow, Friday, we have Monday and Tuesday, we have it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
You could even, if we posted at 8 a.m., 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we could do it, I believe, at 10 a.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Or any time thereafter.
yeah. Saturday and Sundays don't count.
Well, I know I'm not available Tuesday evening next week, but I think Wednesday or Thursday, I could.
I'm here for a meeting at 6 on Wednesday, so anytime before that. Or,
I know I'm not gonna be around Wednesday.
so you won't be busy next week.
Thursday, the 24th.
Thursday.
How's Thursday look for everybody?
Not one Thursday.
Good. Thursday.
I think Thursday would be.
Fine.
What time?
We're all looking at Darren now.
Yeah.
Would you rather have it sooner rather than later in the day? Later in the evening?
When will you be back?
I can be back in town for sure by 6.
Could we do 6 on Thursday?
Do 6. Okay.
Let's do that.
We'll plan an executive session 6 o'clock next Thursday then. If there's any additional information that will be helpful to us that we don't already have, if that could be emailed, you know,
I'll circulate it.
so we aren't green coming into the meeting. Anything else for,
Yes.
okay,
We have a proposed utility reimbursement agreement for Veterans Way. Veteran Energy has existing gas lines that cross the new alignment that are on easements to veterans, so their relocation work we have to pay for. It is a reimbursable eligible expense. We have a proposed agreement here that you will not sign. It will be signed by the Board of Works, but you will pay for it. So I am here asking you for authorization for the funding. The proposed cost of, let me back up just a bit. This is a unit price type agreement where we will pay for the work actually completed in relocation. The estimated cost is $58,261.46. We would pay that cost, or the actual cost would not exceed that amount unless there is a supplemental agreement with veteran. And then we would pay that up front, and then we would be reimbursed 20% from the state feds.
80% or 20%?
We would, correct, 80%, yes, we would pay 20%. So our end cost would be $11,652.29.
And what if we don't approve it?
We don't get on letting and we don't build the project.
That answers that question.
I'll make a motion that we pay veteran the $58,261 where you're up to.
I believe what you said, Adam, is that you authorize the expenditure
There you go.
of that amount and encourage the Board of Works to sign.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
Ron, what did you say that our 20% would be worth?
If it's the maximum amount, it would be $11,652.29. I am hopeful that there's a little bit of padding in their number. hopefully it would not be exceeded. When you dig in the ground, you can find some weird things. So,
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Darren. Any other discussion on that item? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0 to pay Vector. And encourage Board of Works to sign the contract.
is there anything else, Mark?
I guess that's weird, but keep this down.
Any other questions on Veterans Way Phase 2? They're so close and so far.
While you're there, how about giving us a Lincoln Street update?
Okay, we continue to work on Lincoln Street. We, as of,
They were out there yesterday.
yes, and today also, they've been out there every day this week. We have all of the sidewalk in on the west side. Tomorrow, they plan to pour, I have to qualify the statement about all the sidewalk because of the committee of one. We have not addressed any sidewalk north of Walnut Street. That's still to be done, but that was not the original contract, so I think of it differently. We have all the sidewalk done up to Walnut Street. Tomorrow, if the weather is respectable, we will pour the 2 curb ramps on the west side of Walnut Street. And then on the east side, we have all of the sidewalk in up to Central. And they will, as the weather permits, work on those 2 blocks on the east side and get that cleaned up. We've had, or late December, January, we've had relatively good weather. It's been warm. It's been adequately warm. We probably won't work Monday. They're talking about cold sub-zero temperatures overnight, Sunday into Monday. And you could pour concrete safely at or slightly below freezing, but zero's getting a little too far. So, but the plan is still to continue that. Our street lights are still a mystery. We can't get the poles for some reason. There's material delivery issues there. Supposedly, all they got to do is get the finish on them and ship them, but they haven't appeared yet. The remaining concrete work consists of repairing a couple of driveways beyond the sidewalk. All of the approaches are in from the sidewalk to the street. Repairing sidewalks going up to individual houses and some of that stuff. And we have a yard inlet to put in on the north side of North Street, on the northwest corner. The railing is up, if any of you have had a chance to see it.
Looks nice.
I'm very, very pleased with the appearance of it. I like that well. So we're still moving forward, not just maybe as fast as we don't like.
Ron, on the lighting, we have everything else. We've got the arm, we've got the,
I haven't seen the arm and I haven't seen the fixtures, but I'm told that we do, that we're only waiting on the poles
all
themselves.
lead time in the fall.
Yeah,
Is the
I haven't
school
run
sign
any-
pole gonna look the same as the light poles?
I'm sorry,
Will the school light that we bought, the crossing line, or the
the
slope?
flashing beacon,
Yes, will it be the same color as the light poles?
yeah, it will be old, but, no, I'll keep it not sure.
Yeah.
We haven't run any cables, any electric to it.
They don't want to pull the wire because people steal it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They want the pole set and then they'll pull the wire. I believe that the controller, or the streetlight controller is in, the working components are in the cabinet. So I think we get the poles, we can have streetlights very quickly once the poles get here.
It looked like they put a lot of wiring stuff in there. I watched one of them from the hospital.
Yeah. So, other questions before we go on?
Can you explain this pay application that you emailed out to us?
Yes. What would you like to know about it?
What it is?
It is how the contractor is paid. The contract provides for monthly payments for work completed. So each month we measure the units of work completed, and if you look past page 1, any of the other pages, it doesn't matter, those are all the various pay items, there's like 4 pages of those. You will see a column that says work this period, and then total work to date. We have the unit prices, we sum up their work, we then deduct 10% as retainage from that amount. So right now you are holding, I don't have the pay app in front of me, but I think it's around $94,000
Yes.
That is money.
945.
that will be paid out when the work is all complete.
So the net due this month is $157,000.
If that's the right number,
That's what it
yes.
says. So are they also asking for a change order, or is that just?
No, the change order was previous.
That's just
There have been-
summarizing what we previously.
There have been 2
done.
previous change orders, which changes the contract amount.
Okay. I just hadn't seen this format before, that's why I was asking.
Okay.
I did notice that the committee of 1 markings on the sidewalk are gone now. I didn't see them. I
David,
walked, it
can
was
you
the
help
same
her
night
with
I
your vision?
complained about the footsteps.
They're pretty bad faded.
Okay.
She needs to go during the daytime.
It was getting quite dusk. I talked a little too long to the people about their work.
But Darren asked about change orders, and I'm sorry to have to tell you that I have proposed change order number 3. Now again, the Board of Works is the contracting entity on this project, but you are the fiducial entity, so you need to approve the funding. And there are 6 items being added to the project, I think most of which you already knew about. We are formalizing things. 6-inch tile perpetuation, we found 7 drains that needed to be connected to something. That comes to $4,662. The school zone beacon assemblies, we've already talked about those. That's the $22,550. In the intersection of Walnut Street, you may remember last month we talked about a problem that was found. There's an old storm drain in there that we had to dig out and repair. That cost was $77,012. Way back when we talked,
You mean $7,712?
what did I say?
77,000.
That's kind of a big number, isn't it? Yes, I did mean 7,700.
We're looking right sign up for different jobs.
There were 2 trees that weren't in the original contract that were removed. That came to $5,425. We had some existing pipes in the ground that we grouted rather than dug out. You don't want to leave open pipes because they create sinkholes, they suck soil in over time. And then finally, we had talked before, when we milled the street, we had a thin layer of asphalt left, and that had to be peeled up or it wasn't going to promote proper adhesion of the new material to the old, and that cost $819.93. So the total for this change order is $49,993.93. There will be at least 1 more change order. There's still a couple of items that we haven't caught up with yet. All of this stuff is generally within what we told you last month, our guesstimate of $1,330,000 or something. It's still fluctuating a little bit. So I'm asking for your approval to fund the additional, not quite $50,000. And then we will go to the Board of Works and ask them to sign off on the change order.
About 7.5%.
Do I hear a motion to approve that change order?
So moved.
Ken, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Judy. Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion about that? Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Now, you mentioned that there may be another change order coming.
remember the signage, I don't remember what else.
One of them is for signage, that's about 20, and the last one, someplace not included that we know about.
The peeling of the last block.
The last block of asphalt.
And it's a,
And that was about 8 for the first one, so it should be a couple of grand maybe. So
it's a wild guess, but
22.
25 maybe, between 25 and 30. There will also be something we refer to as overruns, where we used more materials and certain pay items and planned quantities, and there'll be some additional costs there. All of that was thought of when we talked about the $1,330,350. I'll be literally disappointed if we don't come in under the very original number of $1 million for that. You will have before you this evening the claim for the progress payment, roughly $157,000 and change. You may all recall your 257 account. That is money, the 452,000 in real round numbers from the state, and you set aside 452,000, making a total of 904,000 something. With this payment, that money will be pretty well consumed. So finishing up what's left will have to come from 802. Yeah, you've got a respectable cash reserve right now in 802, but you do have some other expenses out there as well. You do have the ability to draw relative to Veterans Way. Just a caution that the set aside money for Lincoln Street is pretty well used up at this point. Anything else, Mark, we need to?
Anything else about Lincoln Street? Any questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have just 2 vouchers this evening, and the one is, one of the vouchers is what we approved last month, what the $150,000 for the Greensburg schools. We just have the voucher to sign tonight, but we approved that last month. And then the bill we have is what Ron was referring to, $157,673.47 to come out of our 257. So that's the only bill we have tonight to pay. So I'd entertain a motion to pay that bill.
So moved.
Thank you, Adam. Is there a second? Thank you, Ken. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Our next meeting date, the 3rd Thursday, is February 21st. I'm going to be gone that day. I won't be available. We can certainly have the meeting then. I didn't know if we could move it up to the 14th, and I can be here on the 14th. The 14th, it does happen to be Valentine's Day. I don't know if anybody wants to go to a meeting on Valentine's Day, or...
Sure.
I can certainly attend a meeting on Valentine's Day, but
Do we need to have it earlier to get anything from the executive session finished up?
When's the very last day in February? Should we have to have that
We have to have
on?
it done anyway.
If we have it
It'll
on.
be somewhere around the 23rd, 22nd, somewhere in there will be the ready for contract dates, because it's gonna be 1 month later than what it is this month. We'll try to get it made.
Do we want to allow a week just in case we need to meet again?
you mean to move it up?
Well, I mean, should we have it on Valentine's Day, and then in case we have to have another one the next week, would we have to do that? Is that a thing?
I was wondering if you're going to have an executive session next week based on whatever might come from that. You may want to think